So, Blade and Sorcery U12 has come out, and with it 6 new tools that we can use as weapons. I've spent the last few days learning how to use them as effectively as I can, and now I'm ready to show you what I've learned. Let's start with my least favorite, the pickaxe. So when I first saw the pickaxe, I thought that this was going to be a very nice weapon, but I was wrong. It is able to take enemies out, but it's not very effective compared to other tools. For instance, this man is armored, and this weapon is not much good for it. I can knock him down, but his face is about the only way to get him. In fact, one of the only ways to really make this tool useful on armor is to grab him by the neck and face stab them. I don't really care for that weapon. Next up, we have the hay fork. The hay fork is actually a very nice little tool. It has a long stick and 3 little tines at the end that have decent penetrative power. It's not good for heavy armor, but it's good for everything else. So the best way to use this weapon is to get a nice wide grip so you have a lot of control and force, and to move in and stab. Let's try it with this man. So one of the things you always want to do is go for a facial stab if you can get it. These tines aren't very good at punching through heavy armor, but they can make short work of light armor. When you use it, you want the tines to point downwards so they can catch better. And if they're in armor, this isn't very effective at punching through the armor. If they're wearing leather armor like this, it's able to handle it. That's another thing. You can use this to throw people. There's another one coming later that's even more effective at it. But you can have quite a bit of fun with this tool. This is probably the first one I actually like. Next up we have the hoe. The hoe has a small cutting surface, but a very long handle. It's not the most effective tool either, but it gets the job done. For instance, this gentleman here. It takes a couple blows to cut through his armor. If you swing with both hands, holding them in a line, you can get a decent amount of force. Let's try this again. Leather armor. It's sort of a cross between a bludgeon weapon and a bladed weapon. If you use it upside the head like a hammer, it's very effective. Another way to use it is to trip people up. You just knock them down and get them while they're on the ground. Holding it like this is a good way to use it one-handed. You have to move in very close and hit very hard in order to take them down. So I wouldn't really call this much of a weapon, but it is a usable weapon. I would use it in a dungeon. So next we have the coolest weapon, the scythe. The scythe is a much smaller single-handed weapon. It's not as defensive because you have to get in close to use it, but it does have one very good advantage. It can slice heads much more effectively than a straight blade. So the best way to use a scythe is just to move in and go for the back of the neck and swing towards the front. It often hooks them, it disrupts them, and it's not very good at cutting off heads, but it's very good at putting them down. One of the disadvantages to these is they can get stuck in your enemy's armor. One problem with armor is these have trouble punching through it. So you often have to go in and face stab these guys. One advantage to a one-handed weapon is you could use 2 of them. An effective way to use dual wield is to use your offhand to knock the weapons out of the way while your main hand goes after their neck. Are we done? Apparently, yep. So on the whole, I approve of the scythes as a weapon. They're very effective. If it ever gets stuck, just use the second one to help pull the first out. Scythes are nice. So next to last, we have the fork. This is the bigger brother of the hay fork. It's able to do considerably more damage to armor, has a much larger set of tines that can grab somebody. It's used much like the other tools. Just get a good wide grip, move it to your side, and jab! Move in and jab! Aim for the facing jab! I found the easiest way to stick people is to aim the tines downwards and get them! Unlike its little brother, this can punch through armor fairly effectively. So the best way to use this is to maintain a wide grip stance, move it back to your side, and jab forward. It's with a lot of force. You need force to punch through armor. For instance, this man is fully armored. It's going to take a lot of force. Again. Oh, didn't quite get him that time. You can always go for the face, but with the fork, you can get armor. Oh. Hit me. Hit me. You can do it. Another way to use the fork is one-handed. I find, while this is more dangerous and you get hit more often, this is actually a very easy way to take people out. Another thing you can do with the fork is weaponize your enemies. Just pitch in low and lift. Of course, to do this, you need the tines pointing upwards. So, on the whole, I approve of this weapon. Last but not least, we have the rake. The rake is the longest weapon. It's the most unconventional. It does the least damage. It's the weirdest looking. It's probably the least threatening thing in the game. But the rake is extremely good at one thing. The rake is excellent at tripping people up, flinging around in the air, knocking them to the ground, and then beating them if necessary. Let's demonstrate with this guy. Only the rake can do this. This is my favorite thing out of any of the tools. Now, until I figured it out, I actually rated this one as one of the lowest ones. But now that I've worked with it more, I've come to love this one. Come on, next. Oh, I love the rake. Now, you can't really use the rake one-handed. It's just not going to work. No way to make it happen. And while you can just use it as a straight-up bludgeon weapon, it's not very effective. If you move your arms in unison, like I am, you can apply much more force. You can knock people down, though that does much less damage than cycling them up in the air. Let's see if I can do that again with this guy in armor. People in armor are harder because they're heavier. Hey. Oh, he's still alive. You have to catch their ankles to get it right, though. The damage isn't done with the sides. It has a little bit of bludgeon effect, but as you can see, it's not much from the side. The damage is done with these sticks. They don't look threatening, and they're really not. But if you get a full swing, this has some serious mass on the end of it. So in summary, all of the tools can be used as weapons. Some are better than others, particularly the fork, which is good for sticking people up and throwing them around and poking through armor, and the rake, which is generally good for having a lot of fun keeping people in the air as long as you can maintain it. There you go. Have fun.